Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever wondered how a young pilot, shot down over the Pacific Ocean, became one of the most powerful leaders in the world? Today, we're not just learning English. We're unlocking the incredible true story of George Herbert Walker Bush, a story of war, oil, espionage, and the White House. Get ready for an adventure where every word teaches you something new. Flight to Destiny. In the heart of the summer of 1924, in a town called Milton, Massachusetts, a baby was born who seemed to have a great destiny written for him. They named him George Herbert Walker Bush. His father, Prescott Bush, was an influential man and a future senator, and his mother, Dorothy, raised him with the old New England values of honor, duty, and service. Their home was filled with political discussions and a sense of social responsibility. The young George studied at Phillips Exeter Academy, an elite preparatory school. There, he was not only an outstanding student and athlete but also a natural leader whom everyone respected. But the dark clouds of World War II were gathering, and this storm would forever change the tranquil life of young George. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, George, then only 18 years old, volunteered for the U.S. Navy. He became the youngest naval aviator in the nation at that time, piloting a TBF Avenger torpedo bomber. His mission: to fight in the skies over the Pacific. One day in September 1944, over the island of Chichijima, a key Japanese stronghold, his plane was hit by enemy anti-aircraft fire. The cockpit filled with smoke, but George did not surrender. He released his bombs on the target and then turned his stricken plane toward the sea. He and two crewmates bailed out of the burning aircraft. He was the only one of the four-man crew to survive. For hours, he drifted on a small life raft amidst treacherous waves, while Japanese planes strafed him. With sheer iron will, he endured until he was rescued. This experience forged in him a core of courage and resilience. He returned home with the Distinguished Flying Cross, not as a rich man's son, but as a war hero. At a Christmas dance, his eyes fell upon Barbara Pierce, a vibrant and intelligent young woman. That night, he told her, "I'm George Bush." It was the beginning of a lifelong love affair. After the war, he married Barbara and attended Yale University. But the world of politics and family business was calling him. Instead of joining his father's firm, young George took Barbara and their young son, George W., to Texas, the land of opportunity. With guts and a little borrowed money, he entered the oil industry. He started as an equipment salesman and soon founded his own offshore drilling company, Zapata Petroleum. In the scorching Texas deserts, through sheer grit and determination, he remade himself into a self-made millionaire. These years honed his adventurous spirit and entrepreneurial drive. Public service was in Bush's blood. He entered politics and was elected to the House of Representatives from Texas. He then took on critical and high-stakes roles: ambassador to the United Nations, chairman of the Republican National Committee during the Watergate crisis, and director of the Central Intelligence Agency during one of the most sensitive periods of the Cold War. At the CIA, he held the reins on America's adversaries and managed clandestine secrets, as if he were at the center of a spy thriller. In 1980, he ran for the Republican presidential nomination but lost to the formidable Ronald Reagan. In a surprising move, Reagan chose him as his running mate. For 8 years, Bush served in the shadow of a charismatic leader, participating in the pivotal decisions that ended the Cold War. Finally, in 1988, it was his turn. In a brilliant electoral campaign, with the slogan "A Kinder, Gentler Nation," he won the presidency. His term was marked by monumental global changes, the fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the Cold War. But his greatest test came on August 2, 1990, when Saddam Hussein, the president of Iraq, invaded Kuwait. Bush, now the leader of the free world, used masterful diplomacy to build an unprecedented international coalition. When the ultimatum passed, Operation Desert Storm began. The war was executed with surgical precision and stunning speed, liberating Kuwait and decimating Iraqi forces in just 100 hours of ground combat. Bush stood at the peak of his popularity, having cemented America's role as the world's sole superpower. Yet, a storm was brewing on the home front. An economic recession and domestic anxieties eroded his popularity. In the 1992 election, despite his wartime success, he was defeated by a young, charismatic, and energetic Bill Clinton. This defeat was bitter for a man who had dedicated his life to public service. But Bush never retreated from public life. He and Barbara engaged in humanitarian work, most notably raising funds for victims of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami and Hurricane Katrina, inspiring many. In a rare display of friendship, he formed a close bond with his former rival, Bill Clinton. Over the years, he witnessed his son, George W. Bush, ascend to the presidency. As the 43rd President of the United States, a rare point of pride for a father. On November 30, 2018, at the age of 94, George H. W. Bush, the brave pilot, successful entrepreneur, spymaster, and president, made his final flight into the horizon. He is remembered not only for his accomplishments but for his decency, honor, and steadfast faith in America's 1,000 points of light. He lived a life straight out of an adventure novel, from the fiery skies of the Pacific to the oil fields of Texas, from the secret halls of the CIA to the Situation Room of the White House. The story of George H. W. Bush is the story of a true American. And that's the story of George H. W. Bush, from a war hero to the leader of the free world. Remember, learning English is like his journey. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to explore new horizons. Keep practicing, and who knows? Maybe one day, you'll use your English to tell your own amazing story to the world. What was the most surprising fact you learned today? Tell me in the comments below, in English. If you enjoyed this historical journey, smash that like button. Subscribe for more English lessons, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.